So yesterday I watched both Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I'd like to have a stab at guessing the plot for the third movie, given the information we currently know. I personally think the first movie is the better one, so I'll be modelling it more around that, but I think the second set up a few characters that I'd love to explore more in this movie. Either way, I think the comedy-led heist format works the best, especially when they feel like they're exploring the 50s era weird atomic science in a modern setting. The cast that we know are confirmed are Ant-Man, Wasp, Janet, Hank, Cassie Lang, who's been recast, and Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. A now deleted Instagram post has also teased that Corey Stoll could be back as Darren the Yellow Jacket, so no idea if that's real or not, but I'm going to write him into the movie. So let's pitch the plot. This is complete fan fiction obviously, but I hope you enjoy it anyways. I think thematically what I've come up with fits with what comes before, and it will be a good setup for the future of the franchise. Please enjoy how often I say the word quantum. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Act 1. 1 year after Avengers Endgame, our cast are split to the winds. Hank and Janet are living a life of retirement, but continue to research the quantum realm together. Scott is spending time with his daughter to catch up on the past 5 years that he lost, and Hope is a full-fledged superhero, travelling the world and trying to help the world get back to the way it was, as best as she can. As Hope fights a cell of Hydra, she encounters Mitchell Carson, who previously escaped with the Pym particles in the first movie. She discovers Hydra have been researching the quantum realm themselves, and have discovered that Darren Cross, the Yellow Jacket, is still alive and trying to contact the outside world. Suddenly, she's set on by a group of 5 highly trained soldiers with access to their own Pym tech, the Black Ants, alongside Carson and Sonny Birch, who now serves Hydra as a weapons dealer. Hope narrowly escapes with her life and heads back to San Francisco to reunite and warn the others. Cassie Lang receives the warning instead of Scott, and fearing for her life, steals one of her father's old suits just in case. As everyone reunites, they prepare for attack and are worried that Hydra retrieving Cross could put the power of the Pym particles forever in their hands. The Black Ants don't attack the team directly, but instead go after Cassie Lang, just as she expected, who suits up for the first time and defends herself. As the others arrive to fend off the Black Ants, Scott is angry at Cassie for using the suit despite it saving her life. They help her, and they find that Hydra have stolen the lab from Hank's house. The attack was just a misdirection. Hydra have the capability to go into the quantum realm now, and they're going to get Darren back. It's now a race against time, so the group have no choice but to return down to the quantum realm and fight the 5 Black Ants themselves before it's too late. Scott calls Louise, and together they head to the new X-Con workshop to begin production of a new quantum tunnel. Act 2. As they build the tunnel, several conflicts in the group play out as they work out how they're going to do this, and who is going to go subatomic to stop the Black Ants. Scott doesn't want Cassie to go, but she desperately wants to follow in her father's footsteps, and worries that she'll both be a target and that she'll lose her father again in the quantum realm. Janet agrees to go despite Hank's protest, knowing that she can be their guide. With all hands on deck, it's going to be 5 on 5, with the future of mankind on the line. As Luis and co run the operation from the outside, Scott, Hope, Cassie, Janet and Hank head into the quantum realm to stop Hydra. Meanwhile, the Black Ants have a head start and Sonny Birch is sent to track down and deal with Luis and co, which he considers revenge. Also thrown into the mix is Maggie Lang and Paxton as they go looking for their daughter Cassie, who never told them where she was going. Scott and co get to the quantum realm and their entire worldview is changed when the group are captured by soldiers living in the quantum wasteland, and they're taken back to Chronopolis, a city outside of time itself. It's there they meet the city's cowardly leader, Kang the Conqueror, who leads the city of misfits to escape from the wrath of other versions of himself. Meanwhile, due to the timey-wiminess of the quantum realm, the Black Ants are now chasing Scott and co, who managed to arrive first. The group are stunned by the lost adventurers, wizards, aliens and more that inhabit Chronopolis. Janet is affected badly by the idea that she spent decades alone in a place where there was actually life. Janet meets a time-displaced cowboy called Matt, aka the Two-Gun Kid, and the two bond over being lost from time. The group discover Darren Cross, who's now unhinged and succumbed to madness. Hank and Hope try to reach out to Darren, while Cassie, who is gaining the unlikely attention of Kang, wants justice against the man who attacked her as a child. Meanwhile, up top, the arrival of Maggie Lang and Paxton reveals the location of the quantum tunnel at XCon, and Luis and co have to deal with the arrival of a pissed off and Hydra-supported Sonny Birch, all while protecting Cassie's clueless parents from the danger and the truth of her part in the trip. Scott and co desperately try to convince Kang to let them leave before Hydra arrive, but his games only delay them until the Black Ants turn up. Chaos breaks loose at the city of Chronopolis, and a fight breaks out over Yellowjacket, with the unhinged man being passed from person to person. Matt the cowboy helps Janet fight, and the two form an unlikely mentor-student relationship. The Black Ants win with their precision and lack of mercy, and they take Darren with them back to their craft to return to the normal world, but not without losing one of their own, who's taken out and sent into the void. Cassie manages to sneak aboard their vessel, and Scott chases, but it's too late. Up top, Sonny captures Luis and co and activates the quantum tunnel to bring Darren home. On the journey up, Cassie fights the Black Ants and knocks a regulator out of their ship, with herself and two of the other Black Ants falling out of the vessel and being swarmed with quantum energy waves. They all make it back up to the top, and Cassie reunites with her parents, who see she was taken on the mission. Cassie's suit is taken, but she begins to feel strange feelings from the quantum energy wave. They are all sentenced to die, as Carson comes to pick up Yellowjacket. Hydra leave, and one of the Black Ants, Rita, stays behind to oversee destruction of the quantum tunnel. As Hydra have the upper hand, Scott, Hope, Janet, Hank and Matt head to Kang to beg for help to escape the quantum realm. Act 3. Kang mocks the group and enjoys them coming back to him after trying to escape his city prior. Scott is able to use Kang's interest in Cassie to get them a way out of there, with Matt finally convincing them. They use a futuristic looking ship that can more easily travel the quantum realm. They head out, but find themselves emerging 30 years too early in 1990. Having travelled through time, they raid Pimtech HQ in San Francisco to find supplies to fix their machine. Hank sees his own treatment of Hope and Darren. Janet sees the effect her disappearance had on her daughter, and Scott learns the freedom he must give his own. Matt looks wonder at the modern technology, and Janet is able to appreciate modern society rather than mourning the time that she lost. Back at XCon, Cassie's quantum energy emerges with her own powers, as she's able to shrink and grow now without the suit. She defeats Rita by growing giant, and the group escape. Meanwhile, with Hydra's escape, the other Black Ants that were affected by the wave begin to showcase their own strange powers. Scott and the others escape 1990 and emerge to save the day, but find that Cassie is already the hero with her brand new powers, and she's freed them. Together, everyone heads after Hydra to get Cross, and even XCon, Maggie and Paxton come along as Scott puts Hope in charge and she generates a plan involving everyone to attack Hydra's base. By tracing the signal of the original stolen lab, they jump from one quantum tunnel to another and find themselves in Hydra's new base in Siberia. Everyone uses their unique skills together as one giant family, and they begin to turn the tide. Scott trusts Cassie to fight on her own and finally lets her go, while Hank chases Yellowjacket and tries to reach out to his old protege with an apology. Things get worse when the two affected Black Ants reveal their strange new powers, one rotating his body at super speed, while the other has radioactive green skin. The Wasp leads the attack, and together they stop Sonny Birch, the remaining Black Ants bar one, Eric, who escapes, and Carson. With the day one, Hydra's secret leader reveals himself, a robotic Arnim Zola, who reveals he has successfully got the formula from Cross in time. As the battle breaks out once again, Hank decides to explode the quantum tunnel and blow the building. Hope tries to stop him, but Janet lets her husband do what he needs to do. He apologizes for being a bad father before Hope forgives him for everything. Just as he's setting the tunnel to blow, Yellowjacket joins his old mentor and helps speed up the process. Arnim Zola tries to escape, but Cassie goes giant to get the group out, and the Hydra base blows, killing Hank, Darren, and all of the Hydra leaders inside. The secret of the Pym particle is maintained, and everyone celebrates, but mourns Hank. Stuck in the middle of Siberia, the group ponder how to get home when a spacecraft comes to pick them up. Piloted by Sword, the group meet Nick Fury and some Skrulls, who come down to investigate the huge spike of quantum energy in the area. When Scott explains what had happened, Fury tells them he needs their help up in space, but Scott and Hope refuse, wanting to be with one another and their families. Cassie looks disappointed at this, and Scott decides to let her go and become her own hero, especially with her new powers. She emotionally says goodbye to her parents as they pass the torch onto her and let her go on her own adventures. Cassie picks the name Stinger before the others are dropped off in San Francisco, and they say goodbye to the new hero of the story, who heads off on her own adventures. Scott and Hope bury Hank, and the goodbye is bittersweet as they work out what they are going to do now and who they're going to be. Heroes, or settle down and be a normal family? Ex-con get back to business, Matt goes to discover the modern world, Maggie and Paxton adjust to a life without their daughter, Scott and Hope walk into an uncertain future, knowing they've done well by those that love them. After credit scenes. Our first after credit scene, Cassie Lang gets to Damocles' base up in space, and Nick Fury introduces her to other young heroes. Our second after credit scene, down in the quantum realm in Chronopolis, the cowardly Kang continues to be king of nowhere with silly games and an easy life, before he's visited by another, more brutal version of himself. Kang shows true fear as he's killed by, well, Kang, or should I say, Kang Prime. And that's the rundown. Here's a few quick notes. The Black Ants, there's 5 shrinking Hydra agent ants. Each of them are a reference to another Ant-Man villain. Eric O'Grady, who's the only one to survive with his suit. Rita Damara, who's killed by Cassie. Chen Lu, who gains the power of the radioactive man. David Cannon, who gains the powers of Whirlwind. And Tony Perkins, who's lost in the quantum realm, and he alludes to the villain Psycho Man. Obviously, all of these are sort of semi-origins that have changed from the comics, but they're different ways of doing it, and I think it's a very interesting kind of way to take the story and give each of them a force big enough to reckon with the Ant-Man family, but also have all of them be unique in personality and powers by the end. Again, I have no idea if Sword or Secret Invasion or Nick Fury or the Young Avengers have anything to do with one another, but it felt like a cool way to tie it all together. I did try and find ways to fit Ghost or Bill Foster into this plot from the last one, but I really couldn't find a natural place for them to fit in this story, but I'm sure we'll see them again. I know a lot of people suspect Kang to be the full-on villain of this movie, but I suspect he'll be another variant as another tease for the real Kang to come. If each version of Kang is different, like the version we saw in Loki, I think a cowardly one not only fits the more comedic tone of this film, but also allows us to build up the fear of what the real version of Kang can be like. Yes, I have unironically included Matt Hawke, aka the Two-Gun Kid. A time-displaced cowboy living in Chronopolis, I think he not only has a potential to be a great comedic side character in this movie, but also gives Janet a nice person to relate to about being lost from time. I think that helps her arc, especially as she wasn't too involved in the last movie. Given that the character is an original Avenger, but he's probably never going to be used, I thought this was an interesting use for him. And finally, I'm not really sure about the status of Hydra and whether they still exist, so if they are canonically gone, I'd replace them with AIM and replace Arnim Zola with MODOK, who perhaps got like he did by working with unfinished or unrefined PIM particle tech while trying to unlock the quantum realm. I picked Hydra just because they've had a presence throughout the entire trilogy. Themes. So I believe this film fits thematically with the other two Ant-Man films, while also representing today's world and the post-snap MCU, alongside the themes of family and forgiveness present in the other two films. We're also exploring the ideas of lost time and the future too. Lost time is important to almost all the characters in this film, as they were either lost in the quantum realm, snapped away, in jail, or had a broken father-daughter relationship. Lost time drives the characters throughout the plot, and they all realise how to best accept it, make the most of it, or move on. Scott lets Cassie go her own way, Hope opens up to being less of a relentless solo hero, Janet helps others with the quantum realm to get over her own trauma, and Hank makes peace with the past and sacrifices himself for those he loves. With the theme of the future to match today's unsure future, the characters end in a place of big unknowns, but hopeful about whatever their own futures will bring. With two time-related themes so prominent, I think it fits Kang's role in the plot too. So, I'll leave you with that. I won't go into too much else. Dissect, and let me know what you think and what you would predict for the film. And if you're watching this after the movie has come out, you don't have to tell me I was wrong, because there was literally no details, no filming details, no set photos, no trailers, no nothing. So let me know if you enjoyed this, whether it's in the far future and you're looking retrospectively, or you want to predict it too. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'd love to share some ideas with you guys. Cheers.